Hey guys, what's going on? Eric in real close today, not dressed like a trainer, had to meet with my accountant. But I want to answer a question directly from my inbox from Stacy, who asked, how can I increase fat loss without decreasing performance in volleyball? So when we're looking specifically at volleyball is going to be a sport that is composed of multiple explosive bursts, jumping, diving, going different directions, being able to generate a lot of pop in not a lot of time, a slight recovery period, and then going right back into some high intensity exercise. So when looking at body composition versus training for performance, we do have one big difference, right? Training for performance is based on becoming the most efficient that you can, and then your diet is to support that so you have no decreases in performance. On the other side, when we're looking at losing fat and building a better looking physique, then we're looking at inefficiency when it comes to basically movements that you're going to be less efficient in. You're going to burn more fat. When you're looking for fat loss, obviously calories need to be a little bit lower. So when we're looking at the two combined in terms of fat loss and performance, well, we're going to have to walk a fine line. We don't want to decrease performance to the point where injuries can crop up, but we do want to have calories low enough where we're stimulating fat loss. So the first step for Stacy would be, sorry, dog is hanging out right now. Paws are on my lap, so I apologize. First, Stacy, I would calculate your maintenance calories. So body weight in pounds times 16 to 18. This will give you a range right there based on how many calories you should probably have per day. Now, if you've been tracking your calories and you haven't seen a decrease in body weight with what you've been having, I would decrease by about 150 per day. But we don't want to go into a massive caloric deficit in this case, because we do not want to decrease performance, decrease recovery, and open the doors for injury. That has to be the focus first and foremost. But looking more specifically, once we've determined how many calories we need in this case, then I would look at keeping protein 30 to 40% of your macros, and then carbs 30 to 40% as well. So a lot of people might be wondering, like, why are carbs so high? Why would you have 30 to 40% of your nutrients through carbohydrates? Hey, stop it, buddy. Dog interference. My apologies. But why would you want to have 30 to 40% of your calories from carbs? Well, at the end of the day, fat loss still comes down to calories in, calories out. That's more important than the macronutrient split that you're having, right? A calorie is, to an extent, still a calorie. So looking at explosive exercise like somebody playing volleyball, carbohydrates 30 to 40%, as long as you're in a caloric deficit, will help make sure that your metabolism stays in a good spot. You're not going to downregulate T3, T4, and those things. And it's also going to help provide the readily available fuel that you need for those rapid, quick, powerful muscle contractions. And honestly, this advice isn't really that much different for volleyball as it would be for somebody who's lifting weights competitively or doing another explosive activity. So protein and carbs, yeah, 30 to 40%. Fat is going to have to be a little bit lower to keep your calories in line. And then meal timing. Meal timing becomes vastly more important, especially when we're looking at fat loss, whether we're talking about fat loss for an athlete or fat loss for something purely body composition-wise, or because you want to look better naked and all those things. But meal timing becomes more important. So more specifically, you're going to want to make sure that your carbohydrate intake is going to be a little bit higher right before exercise, so you have that readily available fuel. And then right after exercise, when you maximize the insulin sensitivity that you have from the explosive movements and participating in a sport. So to sum this one up, one, we want to be able to drop calories below maintenance, but they cannot be too far below, especially when we're talking about performance for an athlete. We do not want to open the door for risk of injury. Eating cleaner is also going to be beneficial there. But protein, carbohydrates, both 30 to 40% of your calories to support the lean muscle tissue that you have, so you do not waste any of that and downregulate your metabolism. And then carbohydrates, 30 to 40% as well, so you're able to support performance, not have a decrease there or a downregulation, T3, T4, and those different metabolic factors. And then meal timing becomes much more important. So if you've been eating kind of haphazardly for the last couple of days, try to time your carbohydrates more specifically, 30 to 45 minutes before workout. That could be a piece of fruit, some lean protein, piece of toast, whatever. And then directly after your workout, especially if it's a longer workout, make sure the big chunk of your carbohydrates are going to be taken in then when you have that maximized insulin sensitivity post-exercise. I also find that backloading carbohydrates So having more carbohydrates in the evening is a little bit better for fat loss while maintaining performance because glycogen stores will stay full. But the increased carbohydrate intake at night can help in terms of serotonin, melatonin, all that stuff in terms of better sleep quality. So don't go crazy and cutting calories. Be a little bit cleaner with your diet and then refine your timing. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. Rocky appreciates it despite the fact that he was kicking me in the crotch the entire time. But that's what happens when you have a dog.